Here we go. People are starting to jump on. So I'm so sorry, everyone. The link wasn't posted to the top. So hopefully Candice and Nicole are in there and just organising it for you so you guys can have the link. But we have the replay of this one. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to see it still. But hopefully people will jump on so they can ask questions as they go. So Alisa, basically tonight we're going to go through the Culture Wellness Program. So it's kind of time to turn away from all the awesome infographics and all the fun stuff that I like to go through and then get into the nitty gritty of the program and get into what we do and how we help people. So I can still only see one person there.
Oh, great. So people say hi.
Oh, someone's in there. Oh, excellent. Cool. All righty. There's Dave. There's Steph. All right. We're off and racing. Okay. So tonight, everyone, what we're going to go through is the different programs that we have at Cultured Wellness. So we're going to go through that and we're going to discuss tonight exactly what we have on offer for all of our workshop crew. So to celebrate everyone who's joined us as part of this workshop. And also just to talk a little bit about the importance of the programs and like what we do, why we do it so well. So lots and lots and lots to go through. So the first thing that I really wanted to go through is some of the big barriers. And Alisa, you and I see it all the time. Like we're doing the discovery calls and you do lots of discovery
It's so nice to meet everyone though and put faces to names on the discovery calls. So thanks everyone for booking in. It's really been great over this last week.
Yeah, it has. It's been really cool. And what I love about doing them, which I'm sure you love too, is we start to see some patterns of people's blocks, of their barriers. And, you know, we've seen it all before, we've heard it all before. So I really wanted to go through them to start with and just to help people and guide them. And probably the one that I see, so I'll go first and then you can go next, but probably the one that I see the most is a lot of people don't honour themselves and they don't join the program because they already think that they're going to fail. And they've already thought, because their perfectionism brain turns on, and you and I are, this is kind of our kind of background. And so you instantly think, like, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah.
And you already think you're going to fail. I've got the wedding. I've got to go away. Christmas is coming, and what about my birthday? And what if someone asks me for a drink, or all of these things that happen? And so people already assume that they're going to fail. So there's no point in joining program. So slowly but surely people are jumping on. So if that's certainly something for you, please give me a thumbs up, because it is so human and it's to be expected. But when you're coaching with Alisa and I and seeing, Gabby and Jade in the naturopathic consults, we like when things like that happen because it helps us to troubleshoot why. So what are the background? How did this happen? Is your cortisol level through the roof? And of course you're going to go for the massive, piece of chocolate, or put the kids to bed and have some chocolate, or those kinds of things. So we expect that to happen. We don't expect people, it's great if they do, but we don't expect people to breeze on through and for it to be easy and to stick with it and be perfect. So have you got any comments about that, Alisa?
I find a lot of people, I actually went through the program and we came up through to Christmas. And I remember Kirsty getting on board saying, it's actually okay. You can sort of relax, but within boundaries. And I sort of took it upon myself to host the family Christmas, because then I could control the food and then I could, get around that. So that was just one way I did it. But I find that a lot of people, they feel scared to tell their family or their friends that they're on this kind of protocol, because then what will they think of them now? Or they've been on those protocols before and that one didn't work, so why should this one work? And so it is, there are those kind of blocks between family and friends and even partners. So it's just about educating others, or just taking it in your own stride and as Kirsty says, swim in your own lane, and really, so you can get ahead of, this is your health. You are doing it for you, and we all have a why we can't, we are there to better our health. So that was one that I found, and they are going to crop up. Birthdays, celebrations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always going to be there. It doesn't matter, what it is. And, we just have to make the right choices around that.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't stop socializing. We don't want you to do that. It's
not
about that. And
we've had enough of that over the last couple of years. We don't need a program to stop us socializing.
I used to have a big meal before I went, so I didn't really feel hungry to go out. And then there was no real expectation. So, and, or I'd peruse the menu before and make sure I knew, okay, I might just have this. And, again, sometimes you can't be a perfectionist, but you can really tailor what you can have. So you're not restricting yourself in any sense of that form.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, if you're nervous about that, we give a lot of tools in the coaching calls, and we give a lot of tools in the Facebook groups about how am I going to tell my mother-in-law that I'm not going to be having her, special cake, or how am I going to face this because my old pattern is binge eating. So how am I going to face this, when I really want to work on this for my health and for my gut? And so, just don't feel like, oh, well, there's no point in doing this because I either have to do it perfectly or it's not going to work. And I just want everyone to know that I find the biggest lessons learned is in those times where it's like, what happened? How can we help you? This is great. Let's move forward. Yeah.
And that's part of our jobs as health coaches to help you educate your family. Like, I've got many families that are on program, and mum's like, what do I tell the grandparents when I've got to take the kids over, to their place, or they go and spend afternoons at their place, or weekends, or they have sleepovers, and it's about helping mum get through that, like educating them why we're helping, little Sally's, like, health. This is for her health, so we need to be able to, educate, and so we can support you as a family and not restrictions.
Yeah. The other thing that I've noticed in the discovery calls, and this is certainly something that is unfortunate when you've been sick for a very long time and you've kind of had to drive your own health train, you've got to be your own advocate, and you're constantly trying to find answers. And like you said before, like, you have tried many, many programs. What I find is really disappointing is people are so exhausted because they're doing that in the evening after they finish work, and they're doing it on the weekends, and they're reading, medical textbooks, and they're trying to work this out. And I think that's a really, I was only just talking in a discovery call yesterday about that's actually our job. Our job is to drive and guide and give you the information. So, you can join program really knowing that, okay, someone else can tell me what to do. I'm in a space where I know that it's aligned. I don't have to be the one driving everything. And because you're supposed to be mum, and you're supposed to be out in life doing that stuff, not trying to read your own bloods and trying to work out, am I supposed to be doing a mold test or a heavy metal test? And that's our job. So it takes such a huge weight off your shoulders when you know that someone else is driving that for you, and the longevity of week by week for a long time, rather than just go to see the specialist and then 3 months later I turn up and I'm like, what was I supposed to do in between?
And it's really important that I heard some people say in our discovery calls that I have a amazing momentum for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I just drop off. That's where we come in. We're holding you accountable for getting back on track. Why do you drop off? Why do you lose momentum? What's going on? What's happening behind the scenes that or what is it in your drivers that is switched off? So that's why health coaches are here, because we really get down to that nitty-gritty.
Yeah, it's so important, and that's what you're so good at. You sort of unpack it and go, okay, what happened? Was it because you felt like you weren't organized that day, And sometimes it is simple as I didn't pack my lunch, and then the
Mm,
whole afternoon turns
yeah,
into this cascade. And it's like, where did it break down? Was it planning? Was it
yeah.
self-worth? Was it the ferments weren't on? Like, what happened, and how can we make that better? So
And we've all been in that situation, so we can pick it up quite easily. So, preparation is,
it's
you know,
key.
it starts before you walk out the door. So,
Yeah,
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 we've all been there. So we all fall into those same traps. We're all busy.
yeah, yeah. Another barrier that we always really want to encourage people to talk to us about is obviously that the programs, they're a financial investment in your health. So the biggest thing that is important to know is there are payment plans for the programs. So make sure when you're going through and looking at the programs that you see the payment plan options as well. So they're very, very important. And the other thing that we get asked a lot about is when you join the program, especially the tailored program, either working with one of us, you have sort of the one bulk family program, and then you add the additional family members onto that. So someone in a discovery call today thought that they had to buy, the whole program 5 times, and that's certainly not the case. So the program is kind of allocated to the family
Yeah.
and that one person, and then we just add the extra family members onto that.
Yeah. And that will be for their naturopathic sessions so that they can come in and have their own clinical assessments. So they can see, come in, have that health history done with the naturopath. The naturopath may prescribe and they may not, but then they can do a follow up and see how everything's going. So that's really important so that mum knows that, everything's going okay, the nutrition side of it's right. Their what they need for all their supplementation or their herbal cleansers is correct. So that's really important to have that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I always have that one person that's driving it and that's very much in charge, and we meet with that one person. It's often mum each week. And then when needed, the other person will have their consult and tap in. And often you have multiple people joining the. And I suppose that's the other really cool thing about the program. It's always been done online. So even pre-COVID, the Culture Wellness Clinic has always been online, way, way, way back when it started, very long time ago. And so if you've got multiple family members, if you've got young kids, if you're breastfeeding, if you've got day sleeps with the toddlers or school pickups and drop-offs and stuff, it is so wonderful to be able to not have to leave the house, and you can not have to worry about waiting rooms and getting the kids in the car. And especially if there's a lot going on for your family, that can just make the world of difference. And you can have your kids there, and you can do the best you can instead of having to get babysitters and all the other stuff just to be able to turn up to consults.
And it's actually great having the kids there because sometimes we educate them as well.
Yeah, I know.
You can see them, and seeing them is also part of our clinical assessment. So, if they're a little bit older, we can talk to them about what the right foods are and how they should be, eating and what they should be looking for. So that's also a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for today, it was a little 4-month-old baby, and you know what I'm like with babies. It's just I was just been hello, it's so bad. Okay, so and then the other barrier is definitely around that sort of I get all stoked, I get really excited, then it drops off. I can't learn online. I am terrible with technology. I wouldn't even know how to log in. Like, these are all the awesome things that we hear that we're like, oh, for goodness sakes, we've got all of that. We're used to it. We've put, thousands of people have done our program. We've seen it all and helped everybody with these little nuances. So let us know. But certainly the logging in and also being in the program space is very much for each individual learner. So, Elisa and I've had plenty of clients and I've watched all the videos, but I've never read a thing.
Yeah.
It's all about the videos, or Oh no, I didn't want to watch the videos, but I printed it out, and then I've been able to read it, and then we have lots of people that have watched the videos, they've read everything, and then they've gone off and listened to the extra podcasts and read all the other stuff. So the program's set up for the type of learner that you are. And if you've got a lot of brain fog, and if you're really tired, the videos are great. That's so you can engage with it how you can at that point in time.
And that's right. It's not a lot of like to work to be done during the week. Not at all. It's just short videos, and there's some little bit of reading. Sometimes there's just reading. Sometimes there's just videos. So it's not a lot of work. It's not like studying a degree or something.
No.
It's not like anything like that. And it is all building in what you need for that week, or what we've explained in our consultations. And you might go, oh. And then as you're reading it, you might go, oh, that's right. They did say that, because some of us like hearing it 5 times and then suddenly it sinks in. Which is all great. Yeah.
Beautiful. All righty. Well, let's go through the different offers and options that we have at Culture Wellness, because some of you, I am sure, have been clicking on the links to, look at how can you work with us, what program suits you. You've booked your discovery call, and now you're like, whoa, there's so many programs. Now, the reason why there are so many programs is because we want to make sure that we can suit everyone, whether it be with regards to their financial resources, their time, and also what's going on for them. So some people really need the 6-month program. They need the intensive support, the clinical care, and other people just want to find out with, a test and consult and just learn how to be in ketosis and the basics. So, Elisa, we'll kind of go one for one if you want.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Kickstarter program. So let's go through with everyone, sort of, how long and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, so our Kickstarter protocol is for 8 weeks. It's all online, self-guided. And basically, as Kirsty was mentioning, there are videos, there's actually some written content. There's also extra resources that you can actually go through. The different modules talk through your nutrition side of it. So what are the best foods to be consuming, and it will take you through and all the therapeutic side of it. So it talks into all the macronutrients and things like that. But then there's also the fermenting. So some of you may not have fermented before. So there's the how-to of fermenting and bringing those in. And then as you progress, then you'll learn all about the digestion and what should be happening. How should it be working properly, and the different ins and outs of it. And it's not too technical. It's very just very top line, and it just guides you through just the functions and what you should be looking out for. And then detoxing tools, super important, because that's probably a part where if you've been on a keto diet before, or you've done another protocol before, they tend to leave out the detoxing tools, which is super important, because that is allowing us to help move through any pathogens or toxins that are occurring in the body, and we need to shift that on. So we explain that, and we use that, and we've got some very simple, very non-invasive detoxing tools that we use. And then we talk about different lifestyle elements around it. So this is all around that foundational gut health. So what things can be impacting us in that side of things. So Kirsty's mentioned some of these in the lives, like, are we getting out in nature? Are we actually getting our sunshine? Are we sleeping properly? If not, why not? The reason why that is an issue. So these are the things we talk about. We talk about, what are we exposing ourselves to in our environment? What is the quality of our air we're breathing, the water we're, consuming, the foods we're having. So all of these type of things is so important and impacts our gut health. And the beauty of it is, Kirsty's, everything is peer reviewed. There's all resources throughout it that you can go and do additional research that is linked to that. So, and that's what's great. So 8 weeks self-paced. So if you need extra time in that fermenting space, you can have extra time in that because you're guiding yourself through. And
Yeah.
the beauty of it all is that you get access to our Facebook group, and it's a private Facebook group where you can ask a health coach or a naturopath or anything, like any question. It doesn't matter what you've got you about it as you track through. So we're there to support and guide you in this page. We're there 7 days a week, and we can, answer your questions that you have, what you might be experiencing, or what you're unsure about some of the things in the modules, or So I guess that's the key of having such a great foundational gut series that you can always come back to. You've got lifetime access to it. So that's the beauty of it. So you can go through it and then see how you progress, and then you can put your family members on it, or you can, utilize that. There's about 150 recipes too that Kirsty's got online within that Kickstarter program that you've got access to as well. So, which is fantastic. So you can make your own meal plans, and you can, source different foods that will match up with what we provide in the shopping lists and the different protocol.
I love the shopping lists. I remember, way back when it was always like, oh yeah, this and this. And I remember the first time it was on this shopping list that went on to the fridge, I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. It's just no black and white, grey area anymore. And you really know what you're doing. And there's a protocol sheet on this is how we cook, and this is kind of the philosophy of how we're going to go through program. And there's an example meal plan there, which is great. But we're here to empower you through this program for you to bust out and be able to do this yourself. And everyone's different, and every family's different of what their family favorites is. So we certainly have a meal plan as an example, but we love teaching everyone how to do it themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you go out or get invited by your friends to go out to go and socialize and have that meal out, you'll know exactly what you can eat and what you can use. So that's why it's really important for you to own that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And just to go back to two things that you said there, which I think is really important, is the detox tools are the missing link, without a doubt, compared to other gut health programs or protocols, because I see that's often why people fall off the bandwagon in about week 3 or week 4, because the headaches start to kick in, the cravings start to kick in, your body starts to feel a bit heavy, you're racing hard, or you feel a bit you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And all of these things is your detoxification pathways being stuck. And all of those toxins that we want to get rid of, that we've learnt about in this workshop, is those metabolites and all of these extra endotoxins that are causing problems. If we don't mop them up and we don't know how to do that, we feel crap and then we give up.
Yeah.
And so it really is the secret weapon in the program, and how people are, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Without that, I don't know how I would have got through it.
Exactly. It's totally different than the saying of our body naturally detoxes. Yes, it does. But are all those different areas of detox, our detoxification pathways, are they working properly? So that's the difference, where we need to support the body when it's going through this healing process a little bit more.
Yeah. So the program's awesome, the Kickstarter program, because it's laid out in a sequential fashion. And that has been done on purpose, because lots of people who are trying to get better and trying their hardest, it's not that you're not trying, we see that, we know that, but it's a bit of, I'll give this a try this week, and then I'll give that a try tomorrow, and I'll add that in and see how that goes. And often it's just because that's what you're learning that week, or you just feel so horrible, you just want to give something a go.
Yeah.
So with the program, it's building each week. So you learn about the food, and then you learn about the ferments, and then you learn about getting into ketosis. Then your body's starting to do a heap of stuff. And then you learn about, okay, well, how do I mop up all of that, those deep, toxins that are happening, because, whoa, I think I'm in ketosis and things are happening.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important that we go through that sequential pattern or that way, because then you're getting the results and it's happening in the right way, as opposed to more of a scattergun approach to your health.
Yeah.
So Steph's got a great question there. So what are the detox tools? So our detox tools that we use are activated charcoal, bentonite clay. We're very, very keen on enemas. Now, whether that be chamomile or coffee, or just water flushes. So enemas are a major help, especially for detoxifying hormones, or lots of headaches, lots of migraine, basically all toxins really. And then depending if you've had some mold exposures or heavy metals, we use chlorella quite a bit as well. And we also recommend Epsom salt baths, but that's just a given. Everyone should be doing them anyway, just for your mental health. But so yes, the detox tools are very much based in that natural medicine. They're not pharmaceutical and they're not invasive, and they are a really wonderful way to support your body.
And the doses, our oral doses that we take are very much, they're very gentle, and it can be individually prescribed for children as well as enemas. So there's no sort of forcing there. It's just we have the naturopath there to guide us and tailor that to you as well.
Yeah. So when you've got children joining you on the program, on the Kickstarter program, we are all over the tips, tricks, and strategies, like completely all over it. Between Elisa's kids and my kids, we've faced enough. Putting our, all of our kids, all 4 of our kids have been on programs, and so we've certainly got some tips and tricks, but we've got a lot because we've worked with lots of families.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there going, I don't even know how I'm going to get my child to have the yogurt, or how would I give them charcoal, or there's no, I can imagine that sort of thought process. But I've got 100% success rate in the fact that I've never not had a child work with me that hasn't embraced and embarked on all of the facets of the program, and Elisa's the same. We may have hiccups, and there may be bribery and corruption, and there may be. Today we had oh my gosh, a dear client, and we've been working so hard to really help her along a really big thing that happened today for her. Huge high fives, and man, did she get the Lego. It was just like this amazing win for the whole family, and she got the Lego, and it was really wonderful to see her go through that. So
it's interesting. I've got kids that have started off on a strand of sauerkraut, like literally like the shredded cabbage, like literally picks up, and that's how we started, like not even a matchstick size. And we've sat there and we've done that, day after day after day, and by the end of the program they're eating the same as mum and dad on that table. So it's when the parents come in and say they don't eat any greens, they don't eat anything, vegetables, fruit, they might be consuming fruit, all they eat, but we can soon turn that around.
We really can. And I even remember one person joining a discovery call with me, and they were like, oh, we're the worst you've ever seen. My child doesn't eat this and my child doesn't eat that. And I'm like, I think at one point Noah was eating one food, and it was a white food, those flipping rice cakes, and that was it. And we really have seen it all before, and we start really small. Like same with the cabbage situation. I've had kids, we just start with the sauerkraut juice and a tiny little bit on the tongue. So we expect that. So if you think that you've got problem children, a problem husband, or you think you're going to be the problem, we know all of the tricks around that. And that's why our programs are set for long periods of time, because true healing actually takes time. And it's we don't expect kids to suddenly be okay with eating sauerkraut as a condiment to their beautiful paleo sausages with their Brussels sprouts on the side. Like, we're realistic. We understand it takes time. So Steph, great question about are enemas difficult to do? No, they're not, but you obviously have to be confident and feel like you really know you know the routine and you know what to do and how to wash your enema bag and how to make the solution and where to hang it on the door. Like all of these kinds of things we actually teach you on program. There's videos to explain it. So yeah, you don't have to figure these things out yourself at home, which I had to, but luckily I figured it out with my husband who's a nurse, so I was quite lucky.
I remember I've got a story for Kirsty where our box arrived with all our goodies in it, and I remember my husband was unpacking it, and he goes, "Oh, look at this!" and he held it up and went, "What's that?" Like I actually didn't know what it was, and I soon learned. Kirsty soon, advised us what it was. So interesting days. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, someone the other day, I can't remember if I told you this one. Someone the other day opened it and their husband thought it was a camelback.
Yes.
Which it could be used for a camelback.
Yeah. So someone who's left it in the in-laws bathroom and they said, "You've left your backpack, your inner hydration pack in the bathroom." Anyhow, but yeah,
classic.
I have people who book in specifically to help the detoxing tools, just because of routines, or they've never taken the chocolate play before, or they've got enemas are completely new, and all those situations, or they've got families going through it, or younger children or something. So yeah, and that's exactly what we're here to do. We guide you through it, and try and make it as simple as
possible, and not daunting, because it shouldn't be. So it's just guiding you through it.
Yeah.
Now, lots of people really want to just sort of dip their toe in it. They want to learn about what the Kickstarter program is, or they want to get started with some foundations whilst they're getting their test results back. Now, you don't need to wait until your test results are back to join a culture wellness program, but that just feels comfortable for some people. So in one of the offers that we've got at the moment for this workshop is the Microba test and consult, and then the Kickstarter program. So in that situation, what you would do is you start the Kickstarter program, you start all the learning, you send off your test result, the test result comes back, so the Microba stool analysis comes back, and then you sit down with either Gabby or Jade, our naturopaths, and then we work out a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you can upgrade to where you need to go. So you don't need to I only joined Kickstarter, what do I do now? I wish I had have joined the longer program, or how do I go on to cleanses from there? So there are options to move forward from that. But if you just want to dip your toe in and get started with the foundations, the Kickstarter plus Microba plus consult is the way to go.
Yeah. So Fleur had a great question there. Does Kickstarter teach you how to eat and stay in ketosis? Yes. So yeah, it's got it offers about 150 different keto recipes in the Kickstarter, and it is essentially guiding you through how to stay in ketosis, because there's no sugars or carbs or and the fermenting is all taking the sugars out of your fruits, or all the yogurts or the coconut cream.
Yeah. So when, interestingly, even the word ketosis or ketogenic diet, even about 2-3 years ago, it wasn't something that was in mainstream. In fact, we couldn't really even use it that much. And so we would say, our programs were called optimal gut programs and so forth, but the whole basis of the program has always been seated in that incredible scientific knowledge of how amazing the ketogenic diet is, and producing ketones. And so it's funny because we've always been a ketogenic diet, a therapeutic ketogenic diet, but it's really exciting for us now. Like, we could rename everything, just put ketosis all over everything, because that's what we've been doing all this time. Yeah. Okay. So That's the first one, and it's a really great offer, and there's obviously a lot of discount on that at the moment as an offer for people who've joined the workshop. So Nicole or someone's on there to put up a link. So that's perfect. Now, as we move through, a lot of people will also need to build confidence with regards to those Kickstarter recipes, and they'll need to build some more confidence in the kitchen, and they will need to learn the basics of witch jars and all of those things that if you haven't had an Oma or your Russian grandma to teach you how to ferment, which none of us have, you need to be guided. You don't instantly know this stuff. It doesn't just happen for you. So the other really incredible program that we have at Culture Wellness is our cooking classes. So that's the Confidence in the Kitchen cooking classes.
Yes.
And they're 8 weeks and they're just phenomenal. So it is literally me in the kitchen going through with you. This is the size jar I use. This is the type of coconut cream. This is where I buy my silicone baking mats from. This is the kind of collagen that I use. And I really am guiding you through all the stuff that I do on a daily basis. And this is the type of ketone monitor I use. And this is how I use exogenous ketones like MCT oil. So you're going along with me for 8 weeks and you're learning, you've got recipes. And so that goes really, really well with the Kickstarter program. So the Kickstarter program, you're learning the nuts and bolts and the how-to. And then the cooking classes are giving you talents. Yeah, it's the instilling it, actually the getting in the kitchen and the actual doing.
Yeah, I wish I had that actually when I did it. I mean, we were obviously we had the cookbook and everything, but sometimes, I mean, I'm a visual learner. I love things on the screen, so I like to make things when I'm watching other people. But also too, sometimes when you feel a bit overwhelmed by there's too many ingredients, but until someone puts them out on a bench in front of you, go, oh, it's actually not that hard. And so I think that's where the cooking class marries beautifully with the Kickstarter protocol. And I've got many clients who do both, and they love it. Their repertoire is just amazing. It's not just making the kefir and the yogurt. It's really getting out and doing more.
Yeah. And I think that's really important, especially for families when mums are like, all I've got is 2 stews that I know how to make. So
we're not just about chicken broth and
chicken broth and some Brussels sprouts. Yeah, you can do. So the cooking classes are really important. Now, the cooking classes will also have a Facebook group as well.
Yeah.
So that's where you'll get in there and, ask questions, because the cooking classes are pre-recorded. So they look amazing and, you can really see what we're making. You can see what it should look like at the end of it. And so you can ask questions in that Facebook group about, where I might have missed telling you where something came from or an extra link or so forth. So lots more support in that space as well. So they go really well together, those foundational programs of the cooking classes and the Kickstarter. How long do you have access to cooking class videos for? So it's going to be it's the same as the Kickstarter. So you have lifetime access. So you can watch me over and over and over again.
Get that down pat.
Yeah. But the access to the Facebook group, I think, is for 12 months. I think that's
I think it's an annual.
Yeah. So, but you'll always be able to go back and revisit it. And the cool thing is that each class has an accompanying guide with it for each week that you print out. This is what I loved most about it, is the guide has a shopping list for you for exactly what to buy and the measurements to make the exact recipes for that week. So when you go to the markets, you can literally take that with you, which is what I do to my husband, is just give him the sheet and off you go to the markets. And you can really prepare and you can start to pad out what do I need and how much and what to order and so forth. So, and then I know lots and lots of people print out those guides and put it in one of those little books with, the plastic sleeves. So you've got an extra cookbook there, which is
and for those of you who've joined, don't panic. You don't need to do anything for next week when it opens.
No.
Just Kirsty will guide you through from week 1. So there's no cooking next week. It's just really what to expect, the recipes or the shopping list that Kirsty mentioned. So so all good.
Yes, and it's self-paced, so if you can go to it at any time, so that's cool. All right, so the big thing about my mission, my big sort of mission, and it's the same mission as Elisa's and everyone at Cultured Wellness, but it started with my little mission, and that is just to empower everyone at whatever level they're at and however they can engage with us. So we've got those foundations, we've got the basics, we've got cookbooks, cooking classes, the basics. And then I'd really like now for us to talk about when we're getting into our tailored one-on-one programs and our online self-paced 6-month programs, because I feel like it's my best work yet. Like, I'm so excited, and it's Elisa's work, it's everyone's work. But so let's go through the tailored one-on-one program. Let's talk about that. The cleanses, how cool it is. So fire away.
All right. So our one-on-one programs is a tailored program where you'd be working with either Kirsty or myself as your dedicated health coach for 6 months. So you'll get 12 individual virtual consultations with us, 1 hour. We go through about, for 6 weeks, you'll see us one-on-one like every week. So that's just to get you into that ketosis, get you onto program, getting all those beautiful foods, fermenting, using those detox tools, and really getting you set on that sort of foundation first. Then we will move to fortnightly. So we do 3 fortnightly program weeks where you'll see us, but in those weeks where we're checking back in with you, and you're probably going to start going into some cleanse work with the naturopath. So the naturopath also sees you. So one of our beautiful naturopaths on our team will also see you at the beginning of your program, in the middle of your program, and at the end of your program. So they will clinically assess you at the beginning of the program. They'll work out what cleanse work that you need to be doing throughout the program. And then they'll check back in with you just after a couple of cleanses, and then follow up at the end and see how you've gone and progressed, and are you ready to do your food reintroduction, which is some foods that we bring back in that we may have taken out for the gut work, but then we do bring back in some of those foods, because by then you should be able to digest them well. So that's it's very tailored. It's very individual. Kirsty and I, when we see you each week, we're pretty much, we are there for you to find out what is going on this week. We are also planning what you're going to be doing next week, but it's really for us to find out, how are the foods going? Are you fermenting? Where are you at with consuming them? Or, have we started introducing the detoxing tools? Some people are scared, and that's perfectly normal in a sense of like, oh, I don't want to do that. Or, and like, that's where we track, or you've gone in, in ketosis flu, or the symptoms flare up. Some people do get that, like their symptoms flare up, and that is actually expected and can be normal too. And that's where we're there to guide and support you in helping some of those detoxing pathways, or the naturopaths will support you in from a clinical point of view. So we're tailoring, we're making individual. We'll be assessing, not only from an integrative perspective of a health coach, like looking at all your beautiful foods, what you're consuming, but are you consuming enough? Are you consuming too much? Some people love to snack. They're like, oh, what do I have for snack? So, we do provide that, but it's like we need to assess what your routines and patterns are of a day. We're all working. We've all got to, we might have kids. We've got to get out the door. They might be on program too. We don't want mum to be cooking 5 meals. No, that's not what we don't want to do. So we're there to help meal plan, help mum bulk, cook, or learn how to do those skills. Because if we're not taught those skills, we sort of run around on our tails a bit. But that's how we can tailor and individualize your program. Meal planning especially is important in the beginning, because just to make sure that everyone's well nourished and we're not skipping meals. We don't want that. And preparation, I think I mentioned before, is key. So it's and that's why we progress with you each week. So you will see us. You will come into our consultations, and we will nut through all these things. And that's the beauty of the one-on-one program. When you are in a space of trying to heal or whatever your health concerns are, we can hold that and manage that. And some people even have multiple practitioners where we can even hold that space as a shared space. So our naturopaths will be, they can be liaising with your practitioners, specialists or what have you, and that's perfectly okay. We're okay with that, and that's why we can have that shared space where we all be talking on the same level of what you're doing right now. For your healing. So I guess that is the one-on-one programs in a nutshell, but it's very tailored. It's very individualized. It's great if you've got families where you can't think of what to do with the 3 or 4 other children or more. We're there to really guide you through that each week, fortnightly. And then in the latter months, in the last 3 months, we see you once a month, because by that stage, things will be going quite well for you and progressing well, that you're in a space where you can manage most things yourselves. So,
yeah. And Dee's got a great question there, which is why the Culture Wellness program is so amazing, and what is incredible about what we have created as a team is that we have dedicated Facebook groups for our one-on-one programs and for our self-paced online programs. And every single day, we have someone who is managing the Facebook group, who is monitoring it. We're not on every 5 minutes. That's obviously not going to happen because we're consulting, but we always have someone that's rostered on, that's monitoring it, and that we will see your message. And you'll be able to say, look, something's happened here, or, can I please have some help with this situation? And you can ask us these questions, and through the Facebook group, we can answer it. But the coolest thing about the Facebook group,
no question is a silly question. Like, you might be just thinking, like, away from our consult, where do I actually get, wild caught salmon from?
Yeah.
And you can just type it into the group, and more often than not, someone will have an answer. If it's not us, you'll have somebody else who's asked the same question.
Yes.
Or they're like, where are you? I can source that too. And that's
and sharing those wins with other people, like, high-fiving, like, I did it for men. I did it and no one died. We're fine. Like, I did it. And sharing those wins, and like, are you from this community? Where do you buy your organic fruit and veg? And so there's certainly space for the community to hold you up. Yeah. It's a really, really safe space. So in between your consults, and this is where I felt really let down in my journey of going through healing and everything that happened with my kids, I'd sometimes have 3 months in between consults. And I literally had no idea what I was doing. I had no one to ask questions. There just wasn't.
Yeah, just bring back up the doctor's office.
No, you can't, and certainly can't ring up, anyone, really. It was horrible. And so you give up. And then for me, I created even worse patterns than what they were to start with, because I didn't know what I was doing. So yes, Dee, certainly you've got access to the Facebook group, which actually is the best port of call, because there's always a qualified practitioner that's going to answer your question. Mm-hmm. And if your question is really tailored to you and it's a very clinical question, then we reach out to you via email, or we may give you a buzz if it's needed. So we are there for you, and the community and the way that the programs are, how they've been developed is that you've got someone to support you all the time. So there's not an opportunity to stumble or to fail or to feel lost. You've always got guidance there. And, it requires you to reach out. and it requires you to let us know what's going on and to be open and vulnerable and all those sorts of things to share. But I've seen beautiful friendships made in those Facebook groups. I really have. Many of us, like, you know, Elisa started off as a client and, you know, we're beautiful friends and we work together, and it's been the same for many of the clients that have come through. So it is a community. It's not just doing a program. And it's what I love most about it. So, and I love seeing other mums sharing, what did you do for lunch boxes when you started? And is it going to be okay? Like, I really love seeing that kind of cheerleading going on. It's really nice. Really
and it's not confidence in, it's not, what is the cooking shows? Like, it's, even if it looks like a flop,
yeah.
It's fine. No judgment. It's
no, exactly.
It was nourishing, nutritious.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So the tailored one-on-one program is perfect if you are absolutely exhausted and you need guidance. It's perfect if you've got a lot of brain fog and you are finding it really hard to action steps for yourself. If you really need someone to guide you, it's really, really cool for people that have got quite complex clinical conditions, chronic conditions, with multiple either autoimmune conditions or a lot of medication, for example, or you're dealing with complex issues. We can watch you and support you and guide you, and the one-on-one program is where it needs to be. So for some people, they'll come and do a discovery call and we will have to say, look, the only space for you is the one-on-one program because of your health history and what's going on, and we need to watch you and we need to care for you and we need to make sure that you've got the utmost care. So there are times where, depending on your condition, we will choose for you where you need to go from our clinical sort of treatment. But I wish everyone could do the one-on-one program. Everyone needs some love and care and support and attention and guidance. So it's wonderful. Now, with the one-on-one program, the tailored one-on-one program, the coolest thing about joining it's on Monday night. I can't believe we're almost coming to a close with this. So on Monday night, all of our program offers will be closing. So make sure that you book your discovery call, or you make sure that you choose your program before then. The sooner the better, so we can get you started. So if you can do it before Monday, that's even better. So with the one-on-one, at the moment, there's a really special offer for gift vouchers to spend in the Cultured Wellness website. So this is really cool because last workshop we did the gift vouchers. So it's $500 gift voucher working with Elisa and $1,000 working with me. And I just loved seeing people being able to pay for their tests with that gift voucher, or when you see the naturopath for your first clinical assessment, Gabby might say, you really need some magnesium, or you're going to really, really benefit from some extra gut support, so some extra resources for your gut. And it's really cool to see people using their gift voucher in the shop to be able to get those things and get going, especially the testing.
Because some people are like, I can only afford, so much, and they choose the program, but they can't do the testing. But the beauty of it is that voucher's there for you to use. And
so there's quite a significant discount on the program, and then there's the gift voucher. So it's a really good time to join the program. And obviously there's the payment plans there as well. So the gift vouchers are very, very cool. Very, very cool. So another great question is, someone will ask, well, what's the difference between working with Elisa and what's the difference between working with Kirsty? So we both have really different specialties, which is great. That's why we have two different, very different health coaches at Cultured Wellness. So I specialise very heavily in kids with needs. I specialise in neurological issues, so dyslexia and ADHD and autism, or PANDAS or PANS. So very much in that children's space. Now, Elisa absolutely specialises in children, but in an incredible space of the lunch boxes and getting mums organised and supporting mums to have routine and have structure. And if I did the program again, I would have to see Elisa, because I would need that, because it's not my skill set.
Yeah.
And so I'd ask her, can you please help me? I need to be held accountable. I need support with my household and all of those kinds of things. So and then my specialty is, just because of my teaching background, I've got specialty in helping mums to, to talk with school and NDIS, and to be able, if there's complexities with the kids. So, and with my autoimmune condition, for having it for a very long time, I really specialize in autoimmune conditions. And I see things as puzzles. So if you're having trouble with the complexity of what's going on for you, with lots of no answers and all that kind of stuff, then I love putting pieces of the puzzles together. So yeah, and that's the difference. But Elisa, you've got incredible skill set in environmental toxins, in organizing and structuring and bulk cooking, and being a GAPS practitioner. You're really amazing at that introduction, and then the food reintroduction is a real skill set of yours. So did you want to, it's not comfortable talking about your skill set, but let's go.
I wanted to also add that we work very closely with the naturopaths. So we know personally all our clients, because we have that approach where we're all, because you're all coming into those Facebook pages, we need to know who you are on our program, so we all know who you are and what you're doing. And that's why our team works so closely together, whoever comes on program. So it's a very tight clinical space.
Absolutely. And you would have seen Candice popping about as well. And Candice is our programs coordinator. So Candice is really responsible for making sure that everyone has settled on program, everyone has what they need with regards to program, and then also that all the information on program is, she's working with me. Is it up to date? Is it cutting edge? Is it, the latest sort of clinical understanding? And so Candice, being an emergency nurse, is also a wonderful sounding board. If myself or Elisa or the naturopaths are busy in consults, from her clinical experience and obviously her emergency experience, she's another great resource to tap into. And so she's just across everyone. But exactly like what you said, Elisa, we all know who's on program. We, discuss, and then we chime in with our specialties and our experience. Do you think that there might be some thyroid issues there? Or do you think it might be some mold toxicity? Or hang on, didn't they say they traveled to Morocco? Do you think we should do a parasite test? So we all love chiming in and solving problems. So you do have a whole clinical team behind you.
Definitely.
Yeah, which is wonderful. Okay, so there's payment plans with the one-on-ones, and there are still spots available. So it'll be wonderful for either to book a discovery call or make sure that you save your spot, make sure that you jump on so we can start working with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one-on-one program is 6 months, and it's purposefully 6 months because it takes time to change patterns, behaviors, and so forth. But I always tell people when they start, they come in their first consult or in a discovery call, that we expect that when we start working with one of our clients, that yes, you'll be around for 6 months, but we expect to invest and have them in our world for as long as they need us. So you don't finish the program and then, we don't know what to do with you after that. We have a space after program called Culture Crew, and that's where you move into, it's where you graduate. It's our sort of graduate space where you keep learning. You still have access to us for consults with the naturopaths, and we still see people for a year and a half, 2 years after that. The cool thing for us is we see people get better, and then they come back because they want to get pregnant, and then they have a child, and then they want to come back for breastfeeding help. And so it's very much a space that you are invited into, and we just expect you will always be around and we will be here for you. So when you see these time frames, that's not our expectation of how long we will work for you. It's much longer than that, but we need a time frame just to wrap things up. Otherwise it gets messy.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's a question there for the one-on-one. Are there any supplements needed if the protocol's included? So in the one-on-one, you would be clinically assessed by the naturopaths, and they would recommend prescribe anything that is required. So if there is supplements that you are needing, they will prescribe and recommend those. If they will recommend what cleansers for your protocols would be needed. So that's where they would be additional cleansers that would be needing for whatever those health concerns are. And the additional tools, detoxing tools, well, we leave them out too because it depends on your complexities. So, and when people come into that program, they may already have their enema kit, but sometimes it might be a bit more complex than that. They can't use an enema kit, for instance. So the naturopath would be prescribing that specifically for you. So that's why it's very tailored.
Yeah. Which is why the gift vouchers are so wonderful, because you will need those supplements and then you can use your gift voucher in the Culture Wellness shop. So Fleur had a great question here about, does a keto diet help young adults with dyslexia? So very interesting, Fleur, and it's lovely to touch base with you again today. Yes, we, through Dr. Melillo's work and some other incredible, you've just gone a bit blurry there, Elisa. You might
yeah, I think we're going in and out. Yeah,
so you're moving in and out.
Yeah.
So Fleur, there's some really incredible practitioners that are really creating and laying down some amazing foundational work in this space. So we do know that the ketogenic diet provides a lot of support for cognitive function, and then using the appropriate exercises for neuroplasticity and for having both hemispheres of the brain starting to work in unison, we've seen such wonderful changes and improvements in dyslexia and that cognitive function. So absolutely, it would be something that you would want to learn about for your son, and then also we can point you in the right direction. Once the ketogenic diet's down pat, we can point you in the right direction of where to after that. So the exercises, neuro specialists that you would work with, and they're not hard exercises and they're fun. And, one of them is going rock climbing, for example, or bike riding, just using both sides of the body. So there's lots of fun things to do as well as exercises. Alrighty, so I'm just going to check my notes here. Was there anything else that we have missed? There was something that we missed. Let's go into the cleansers just a little bit, because I feel like we've just touched on them. And I think it's really important because they're the coolest thing. Is still blurry, Elisa. I'm not sure.
Sorry. Is that better?
No, it's not.
Strange. It looks okay on my side, but I don't know. Maybe it's the internet.
I don't know. It may come around. It'll be fine. Yeah. So as part of the Culture Wellness program, the other cool thing, obviously the detox tools are our kind of superpower of why the program is so successful for people, and this amazing kind of extra that we have put it in. But also the cleansers are this other amazing part of the program, which is how you get to that optimal gut healing space. And so the action of doing program, what we want for you is that your gut junctions have sealed up, so you don't have leaky gut. So you're not blurry at other people's ends. So we want to be able to seal up that gut. We want to stop the inflammation. We want to be able to reduce the pathogens that we find in your gut, whatever they may be, whether it be parasites or candida or maybe a bacterial overgrowth in your small intestine. And so we want to reduce that down, and then we want to move forward and build up the robust strength of your gut, the diversity of your gut, and get you to that optimal gut health. So that's really the aim of the program. And so to do that, we obviously have to take out all those inflammatory foods to stop the inflammation. And we need to provide resources so you can seal up that gut so it's nice and strong. And then we need to bring down and to start to reshape your gut microbiome with all of those overgrowths, all those pathogens. And that's why we use the herbs. So, for example, your test results come back if you've ordered them, but you don't need a test as well. We have so much clinical experience that the naturopaths will be able to just collect a health history and know what cleanses you need to do. So yes, test, don't guess, and that's great. But we also know if this, and this is going on for you, we need to put you on a viral cleanse, or, we need to be able to support you on a parasite cleanse. So we know how to move forward without the test too. And so with the cleanses, they go for 4 weeks. They're very structured and orientated. We use liquid medicinal herbs as a way of making that change. And so say you've got a candida overgrowth, we will prescribe you candida herbs, so a blend of herbs that you take twice a day. And you go through that process for 2 weeks of taking those cleanse herbs. And then on either side, doing some biofilm work and some gut sealing work. So for a month, you're really actioning change within your gut. And that's the cool thing about this program, is it's not just food. It's very much medicinal herbs. We're rebuilding the gut microbiome. We're adding fermented foods in. It encompasses everything to rebuild your gut, which is what we want for you. So it works for you. So you're building neurotransmitters, you're getting energy, you don't have that inflammation, you're turning off that inflammatory switch, and your immune system is going, oh, we're all cool. Let's make some anti-inflammatory cells and cytokines. So the cleanses are amazing. They're just groundbreaking for people, in the fact that what comes out of that process for them, a lot of people, it's quite life-changing for them. So yeah, I don't think we talked about the cleanses enough, and they're just like the hero of the program. So
interesting. So when you come through any one of the 6 months program, you will essentially work through the first 8 weeks of doing that gut foundation, and then each 4 weeks after that, you will do one of those cleanses, and you can pretty much get in 4 cleanses in that 6-month program. And we would be here if you're doing one-on-one to guide and support you through each of those cleanses.
Yeah. And so finally, the other program that we also have is the online self-guided full 6-month program, the Optimal Gut Health Program. And so the Optimal Gut Health Program is done still with naturopathic consults. So you still, check in, you still have your Facebook group, so you can still have all of that access to the coaches and to the naturopaths to ask questions, but you're doing it yourself. You're guiding yourself through. It does come out weekly, but you don't have to keep up with it if, you're going away, or you want to spend 2 weeks in the fermenting stage, or, you want to have maybe a week's break before you go on to do cleanses. So in the Optimal Gut Health Program, when you're doing it self-paced online, you will still be doing cleanses. It will still be guided. They'll still be prescribed for you, but they're more about the cleanses that we know that people need to do to find balance within their gut. So it's not as tailored. So we know everyone needs to do a candida cleanse. We know everyone needs to do parasite, a viral cleanse, especially at the moment. A viral cleanse is great for everyone. I had netball coaching tonight, and half my team was gone with influenza. But they all had carnival on the weekend, so they're probably so tired they went down. You do a viral cleanse, and then you go back and you do a repeat of, herbs that really support bringing down that bacterial load, so that, small intestinal bacterial load. So you still do the cleanses, you still have your consults, but it's self-guided, so you don't have the health coaching consults. So for many people, they want to do it that way. They don't feel like they need a health coaching consult. Or for some people, financially it's going to suit them better to do the self-paced online program. And that's also got payment plans as well. So really, for every budget and wherever you are at and how you want to dip into working with us, whether it's just getting fun, into fermenting, or whether it's the real kind of nitty gritty, there's a lot going on and you need to make some change in your health. We really have everything in there to support you. And we've got the community to support you, the clinicians to support you, and the longevity of doing this. So, we've really nutted out a lot of the nuances of providing an online program and guiding people and supporting them. So it's another cool thing about Culture Wellness is we're not suddenly, because COVID, decided to, make up an online program and do it. So it's a very much something that we've been working on for many, many years and have done for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think she looks lovely too. That's about you, Elisa. That
yeah, it wasn't blurry.
Do your foods change for each cleanse, or do you just remain on the same keto diet as you started with? Did you want to answer that one, Elisa?
Yeah, so the keto cleanse, keto diet, we call it more of the Kickstarter protocol. You would track through that predominantly most of the time that you're on the herbal cleanses. Then as you come into the gut seal foods, we introduce new foods. And that's really important because we might introduce some beautiful fibers that feed back into the good gut bacteria that awaken them and really get them stimulated so that they can start working on crowding out some of those bad guys. So we do sort of start introducing new foods, not overly, but it's a small portion during those cleanse times. So we can just keep those gut bugs okay. So
yeah. But they're very much, there is an expectation that you are eating very similar foods, and they're just really nourishing. It's not going to be anything super special, and really set yourself up with that mindset this is where I'm at for the next 6 months. And yes, it might be one or two things that we add in, but that's what you're going to be doing. And it's funny, so many people come on program like, how am I going to do this? And by the end of it, they don't really want to introduce too many other foods.
And that's why I have the next issue where they're like, I just want to stay on the cleanses. And like, you can't just stay on the cleanses. You now have to introduce proper foods. And when I say proper foods, like they can start introducing, unfermented fruits to see how they go. They can start looking at different grains or higher carbohydrate vegetables and things like that. So, and they get a bit scared because they're like, I felt so great doing all my program and everything. It's like, now we need to bring that back in because you need to start eating with the seasons and start eating, with all those beautiful foods. It's not a long-term thing.
But it is amazing how many people just want to stay on program. They love it. They feel so nourished. They feel so good. Making beautiful bulk cooking, slow cookers. And what a cool time to start program at the moment going into winter.
Yeah, super casseroles.
I know. Broth. Yeah. So, we don't really have a problem with people wanting to bounce back out again and suddenly like, that's it, I'm going to, I've finished program, I'm going to bust out and have 10 loaves of bread and a packet of chips. It doesn't
no
that way, does it?
It's not back to the meat pies, no,
and it's not like, oh, today's the day I finish and then that's it and then I go back to my old world. So
or do you want to answer those questions?
So Lisa, can you do a cleanse without doing a program? So well, no, you can't. So we need you to have done the Kickstarter program and really understand those foundations to then go on and do a cleanse. But you can do Kickstarter plus a cleanse. So you can do that. There is an option of doing a cleanse without doing the full 6-month program, but you must go through the Kickstarter program first because the cleanse won't work. And then we will feel like we've disappointed you. So we know when things work and we know what needs to go together for you to be successful and to get the most out of it. And so that's why we're very strict on that. Otherwise, you just don't get the results.
You can't still be eating all those carbohydrate and things, feeding the pathogens, and at the same time trying to counteract it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Fleur, we will get you a link for the Optimal Gut Health Program. So Nicole's probably still on, so she'll pop it in there in 2 seconds. And so that's the online self-paced one. So that might work well for you too, Fleur. My son has ADHD, and I wondered if a parasite cleanse would be helpful. Yes, definitely. So Elisa and I are very much on the, very much about children have exposures to all sorts of things. They love putting their hands in all sorts of places and then sticking it up their nose. And we want them walking barefoot, and we want them cuddling animals, and we want them out on a farm. We want them in these environments. So it's certainly not the hygiene hypothesis of no exposure, but it means that children often do get worms and parasites. It's part and parcel of growing up. So we still do this for our kids once or twice a year anyway, post-program, that you would do a parasite cleanse anyway. And so, yes, I highly recommend doing a parasite cleanse for your child. And it especially with ADHD and any of those neurological, issues going on, it can only help. We do organise parasite tests if you want to see, but as I said, I just think it should be in our yearly flow with the seasons anyway, and get into that routine if that's what we do with our kids. Someone's there, put up the link, so that's great. Alrighty, Elisa, is there anything else that you would like to say or that I've missed? And whilst you do that, I'll check my notes.
With some of the questions that we may have missed, I think Fleur asked about the name of the doctor, and we said, I think it was Dr. Murillo you were talking about.
Oh, Murillo, yes, yeah. So M-E-L, I have to write it down.
Yeah. It's not an easy one. So
no, Mellilo, Dr. Robert Murillo. Yeah. And his work is fantastic. He's written great books. He's really amazing at giving information. He's been a great benchmark for me of how I want to engage with people at Culture Wellness. Like, he's always giving knowledge and information. He's written books and so forth. So
a great website. So
he does.
Name in and you'll find it.
Yeah. I even loved, he's got like a Netflix series or a YouTube series or something when he goes into people's houses and applies his exercises to their kids. It's really cool.
I think I've seen one of those episodes.
Yeah. It's like Super Nanny for neurological conditions. I love it.
Angela asked if you're fermenting everything, even fruits and vegetable, does everything taste the same? No. No, it'd be surprising. Some fruits and vegetables actually still hold their flavor, even though it does go on the tart side or the tangy side. It is different. So fermenting strawberries or any berries will still kind of hold that real berry taste. It's just the sweetness is gone, and so it's actually a sort of a bit of a trick to the taste buds, because it's coming in tart, but you're actually sensing or maybe orally or smelling that strawberry or that banana or what have you. And with vegetables, it is similar. I mean, vegetables don't really have a poignant, I guess a flavor as such, but or smell, but they still will hold their own. It's you'd be quite surprised. So no, it doesn't all taste the same.
Right.
It is something that tastes acquired. So
yeah. And that's where the beauty of herbs and spices come in. Like, you really flex the cinnamon muscle and the vanilla muscle and the, like all of these different spices.
I'm a bit of a ginger person, but ginger and mint, and you can really, like turmeric, and you can really flavor so many things with so many herbs and spices that we can have on program. So it's great. We just stay away from chili, but we don't want to spice up the stomachs too much. But we do. The food is flavorsome, and there's just so much you can do. And I guess the cooking classes is just one of those areas that you can really learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I remember Kirsty just gave me the diversity dough starter. I'm like, okay, I'll make a loaf. Now what do I do with it? So it was like I had to just, it just took me outside the box. Oh, I can actually make a pizza base and muffins and flatbreads, a popular thing in the family. And so it really sort of, okay, now where do I go from here?
Yeah. No, it's so cool. Very, very cool. And someone was just, where was it? Oh, Lisa said that you just got your culture products for the cooking class, and I'm looking forward to starting. Lisa, that's so cool. How exciting. There was one other thing that I wanted to say, and now it's completely, that's not like me. It's just completely escaped my mind. So that's fine. So we'll finish up now. But of course, if you're watching this as a replay, please pop in your questions below, because we will be checking back in and answering your questions tomorrow. So that's all cool. Now, remember that we are closing on Monday night. So that's the 6th of June. So make sure that you join up, you take your spot, that you get in, so we can allocate for you to join the program, and so we can get started with helping you. It's such an exciting time for us. Who's joining program? I can't wait to work out who we're going to be working with, and it's such a wonderful time for us to really support you. So Monday night, if you have a discovery call booked for next week, that's okay, because we always make sure that we honour those offers even though it's closed on Monday night. So don't worry about that. Don't freak out. We will honour that and make sure that we can send you the link for that afterwards. Or you can just click the link. I had a beautiful client who clicked the link and joined the program to work with me, but she still kept a discovery call because she still wanted to have a chat. so that was wonderful, because we got to know each other and have a little chat, and just to really go over a few extra things that she had booked in to save her spot in my calendar. So that's also another thing that you can do. Then you can ask those extra final little questions that you've got about joining program.
Yeah, I've still got some spaces I've left open for Thursday and Friday for discovery calls. So if you want to do it for Monday, I've got some time there for you.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. It's been really cool to check in with you and to talk about what we love to do. This is what we really enjoy. So it's so wonderful to share this with you. All righty. Everyone's just popping up. Thank you. So that's all cool. So see you later, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.